Hey there, I'm Brooke. I'm an ex-product manager turned almost registered dietitian, and I help high-achieving women beat fatigue through balancing their blood sugar and optimizing their gut health. My goal is to make all the boys wonder what the hell you're doing different. And in this video, I'm going to explain 2 reasons why you might be feeling tired and fatigued and burnt out, as well as the simplest thing you can start doing right now to help that. So let's jump into it. I'm going to share my screen. I feel like I'm back being a product manager. But I think it's one of the first things that we need to understand is the importance of balancing our blood sugar. So this graphic demonstrates the optimal kind of curve that you would want to see. And also, I should add, when I work with individuals, I provide you with a continuous glucose monitor, also known as a CGM, because I want to see what your current diet without any intervention, what your blood sugar looks like from that. Because that is going to give me a ton of data on where we can immediately start making improvements that is going to help better manage your energy. So, like I said, the optimal blood sugar curve is like when you eat, it peaks. That's normal. However, we don't want to see these extremely high peaks and then crashes. Because when you crash by having a meal that is primarily just carbohydrate based, you're going to get cravings, you're going to get tired and feel like you need a nap, and you're going to be hungry as hell. So you're going to need another snack, which causes you to eat more and causes you to gain weight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No one wants that. What we want is to eat. Our blood sugar is going to go up, that's normal, and then it gradually goes down. So you're not going to have this huge crash. You're not going to be shaky. You're not going to be hungry. You're going to have sustained energy. So that really is the primary goal with eating for blood sugar balance, is to have sustained energy throughout the day. And as you can see in this graphic, like if you're eating not optimally and you're not having balanced meals, you're just going to go through a cycle of blood sugar spikes and crashes the entire day. So you're going to be fatigued, you're going to have that afternoon crash, you're going to feel like you need coffee. And in reality, you just need to fix your diet. So that is the first thing I want to mention. And we go in way more depth on this in my program. And then the other thing, and sorry for these graphics, I just really wanted to put a video out to explain this, is nutrient deficiencies. So, ever since the agricultural revolution, a little history lesson here, our soil has been depleted of essential nutrients year after year after year. So I like to use an example of an orange, which contains a high amount of vitamin C. Back in the day, when we would eat the orange, we would get a lot of vitamin C out of it. And now, because we keep planting crops in this depleted soil, we're not actually getting as much vitamin C from the orange that we eat as we used to. So, what does that mean? That means that in your diet, if you were to eat the same diet now as you did, let's say, in the 70s, you're not getting nowhere near as much of the essential nutrients and micronutrients that you need in order for healthy cellular function. And that is leading to essential nutrient deficiencies, which in turn is leading us to feel tired, fatigued, like we need a nap all the time, like we need 18 coffees. Okay. So this is another thing that I love to do when I work with clients, is optimize not only their diet, but their supplement intake. So let's go through some of the most common nutrient deficiencies. And I will skip some of these on this list. I need to make my own graphic for this. But let's start with magnesium. Magnesium is one that almost all Americans are, I like to say, functionally deficient in. It's not necessarily a severe deficiency, but it's not optimal. And magnesium, if you're deficient in, you might have muscle cramps, migraines, fatigue. As you can see, fatigue is extremely common on this list. So that's why testing is important before you start taking like 20 supplements. That is never my goal when I work with people. I want you to take the least amount of supplements possible with the most amount of benefit possible. Okay? So magnesium though, this is a supplement that I usually put everyone on just because most of us are deficient in it and we can use a little more. Magnesium also helps with sleep, anxiety, mood, so it's just a great one. Vitamin D. There are so many studies showing that Americans and also people all over the world are vitamin D deficient. This is extremely common to get tested in your annual workup with your doctor, or if you get your labs done, biannually. This is something that they're usually going to test. Optimal levels of vitamin D, most of us do not have them. So most Americans, and even your doctor will say this, it's recommended that you take a vitamin D3 supplement. If you want to get in the weeds, combining a vitamin D3 with K, it's going to help you better absorb it. And also vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. So when you take these, and this is why it's important to have someone that knows what they're talking about, is that it's so important to take this with fat, because if you don't take the fat-soluble vitamins with fat, you're going to have a hard time absorbing them. So it kind of defeats the point and wastes your money if you're not taking them properly. So that's something I also cover. However, if you are vitamin D deficient, you might have bone pain. This is in more like severe cases. Muscle weakness, more common, fatigue, there we see it again, and even depression. So vitamin D, definitely one that you want to look into. Iron is another huge one, especially for females, especially menstruating women, when we bleed each month with our period. And the way to test this in your blood is actually through ferritin. This gives us a sense of iron stores in your blood. And if you have low ferritin, we can assume that you are iron deficient. Iron, really common. You're going to be weak. You're going to have sometimes some dizziness when you stand up. Cold is very common. You might have brittle hair, brittle nails, and then just, again, fatigue. Be overall just kind of feeling lethargic and tired. So iron is something that I would definitely recommend getting tested through ferritin on your blood work. And then there are a couple ways that you can supplement with iron. I'm not going to say anything about that because it really depends on the person, but certain iron supplements are known to be kind of hard on the gut. So that's why it's really important to personalize supplements for you and your body and what you're going through. The next one I'll cover is, let's do vitamin B12. So kind of depends if you're deficient in this, depending on the person. You can have anemia associated with this. It can also influence your mood. You can have mood swings, memory problems, fatigue. In severe cases, you can start having problems with nerve signaling. However, I often don't like to just supplement with certain B vitamins unless you're like extremely deficient in B12. I usually recommend a B complex because it's going to have all of the B vitamins that you need in one supplement instead of taking multiple, and it still has over 100% of your B12. So that's just something that I found works best in my clients, is taking a B complex. And B vitamins play a huge role in energy metabolism. Essentially, they help us break down our food and take energy from that food. So making sure that your B vitamins are in check is really important for energy, mood, etc. Folate is another one. You can also have anemia associated with this. There are multiple types of anemia, which I will go into in another video. But fatigue, irritability, again, fatigue is so common in all of these. So it's really important, if you have not gotten this so far, is to test and work with a professional, because can be multiple reasons why you're fatigued. And if it is an essential nutrient deficiency, we can help with that, because you just need to take a supplement and then optimize your diet as well. Those are all the ones I'm going to talk about right now, just for the sake of this video. And now I want to give you the one thing that you could be doing that most people don't do. That is like one of the easiest things that you could start doing right now. Okay, here it is. You might be like, duh, but also a lot of people I work with don't necessarily know this. So I like to start here with my clients. I like to build from the foundations up. I have noticed if you just throw a ton of information at someone about all the nutritional science, all the supplements, all this, all that, it doesn't stick. And then they don't succeed because they're overwhelmed and they don't know what to implement or where to start. So I like to start with the plate method. And, we can optimize this even more, but I always just like to start here first. And so you have your dinner plate, as you can see, and then you want to divide it in half in your head. And half of it realistically should be coming from non-starchy vegetables. So think our broccoli, our salads, peas, technically they're starchy, but any sort of like vegetable, aim to have half your plate of that. Also, vegetables contain a ton of micronutrients, so this will help with the essential micronutrient deficiencies that we just talked about. And then you're going to want a fourth of your plate. So the other half of your plate, you're going to divide in fourths. And one of those fourths is going to be coming from a lean protein source. This is what's going to help with your blood sugar balance because we don't just want to be eating carbohydrates. Let's say if the plate was half carbohydrates and then half vegetables, your blood sugar probably still going to spike and crash. It really just is dependent on the person, your exact response. However, you don't just want to do that. So having a fourth of your plate be from like grains, your starchy vegetables. So your starchy vegetables are like your corn, your peas. That is going to be what you want to optimize like your plate on. So essentially a recap, half your plate vegetables, and then the other half divide it into fourths, do a lean protein and then a grain. This is just something that is so easy to implement at first and is like the first step that I always recommend, like I just said, in trying to optimize your diet for better energy and help with the blood sugar crashes. So I hope that you enjoyed this super quick rundown video. Please consider liking and subscribing. My videos in the future will be way more, hopefully, production quality, but we're just getting started over here. And I really want to bring this new sense of how can I eat for better energy? So the boys are wondering what the heck you're doing. And just so you can feel not only great in your life, but also kicking ass in your career.